The next perversion I have here on my list are plastic bottles. Plastic bottles is a perversion. Mankind is stupid enough to produce and to use plastic bottles, which end up typically in the landfill and in the oceans. Mankind deserves to vanish from this planet. Why do you use plastic water bottles? We have to change our lifestyle. Plastic straws, plastic water bottles should not be used, even not bought anymore. I don't refuse plastic. I mean, plastic water pipes in the house and in the bathroom and everywhere are very practical and last forever. But that plastic bottles we dump the very next day and ends up in the ocean, in the soil. We need to force the manufacturers to stop producing these products by not buying them anymore.
Yes.
If we would have an ethical government, if the ethical government would have stopped this a long time ago. And it sounds maybe harsh to you, but people who use plastic bottles do not deserve to live on this planet, as they're actively participating to destroy the planet and future lives for our children, grandchildren. You actively destroy this planet. If you have children, well, you have grandchildren, you use plastic water bottles, sorry, shame on you. You do not care about the future. If you would care about the future, you would not do that. I'm not talking only about your own future, but the idea my children are living with this bullshit we're leaving behind. And to my humble opinion, we are born again. And when we are born again, we inherit the crap we left behind. So it's terrible. This is what typically looks like on the seaside, in rivers and oceans. These are the big plastic pots. You can see them. They're not as dangerous for now until they turn into microplastics. And the microplastics are the ones which end up, again, micro, very small, in the air. They're so light, so small, they end up in the air. They end up in the food. They end up in the ocean, in the fish, in the seafood. They end up everywhere. Everywhere. And we are just committing suicide. We don't feel it immediately, so we think we can get away with it. If you put your brains on for just 1 minute and look from the bird's eye view, you see how devastating this is. Which brings me to another topic, a small one, which is called spring water. When I give seminars, people say all the time, oh, I drink healthy water. I said, okay, so what do you drink? I drink spring water. I can clearly see how many people are taking for complete idiots and are brainwashed. They have nowadays these great fantastic names on those water bottles: polar water, glacier water, ice water, whatever name they come up with. I don't want to quote them all. It's just between an embarrassment and a joke. And of course, of course, the name spring water comes up all the time. People think because of their bottle is printed spring water, it's got to be good, it's quality. No. And when I ask them what you drink, oh, I drink spring water, and comes up with certain pride of quality. The expression spring water is not related, attached to any quality standards. Nothing at all. In stores, supermarkets, even health food stores, they have all these pumps and they sell the waters. And as I said, most of them is reverse osmosis water. And they have even the guts then to say it's spring water, which is not. Spring water, we would think by the definition, oh, we're going to a natural spring, right? The water comes out of the natural spring and then we fill it up in bottles. Right, John? Is that the idea we have with spring water?
Yeah.
But it's not. It is not. It's just a trick. It's just a marketing stunt.
It's a marketing slogan, nothing more. Spring water, really? Who's spring exactly?
And people fell for it, and they think that's what it is. All right. On a more deeper note, we're getting deeper into this theme now. We will talk about water and cells. Now, this is a very, very hot topic, cells. We'd always learned that about 80% of our body is water, maybe 70. When we are babies, it's 90. When we get older, it goes down to 70, 60. And these 60, 70, 80%, whatever it is, it does not sit in the bladder and not in the blood, which is 90% water, but it sits in the trillions of cells. This is where the big water amount sits in our body. And the cells are the building blocks of our body, of our life. The cells produce the energy that enables us to live. We could not exist without the work of the cells. The cells are our power plants. The cells produce your energy, your life, not the steak you eat, but part of that steak, which end up hopefully healthy in your cells. To do that job, the cells need nutrition, minerals, vitamins, trace elements, oxygen, and especially water, but good water. The cells do not accept bad water. Beer, coffee, sodas are based on water, but they're not deliver water into the cells. And in fact, the cells refuse those liquids. So first off, good water is needed to create energy. The mitochondria are your nuclear power stations, fantastic computers. They as well create water. Now, once the cell creates water, and it got good water to do that, there is a waste, a toxic waste, and this has to go out of the cells. And again, the good water is needed to kind of bind these toxic waste and flush it out from your body. And then we need fresh water again. Now, the good, healthy water, we will talk about in a minute, has what we call a hexagonal structure. The hexagonal structure, or fine clustered structure, is able to bind to encapsulate the toxic waste and flushes it out. These are the two main functions of water in your body: to supply healthy water to create energy, and to encapsulate toxic and flushes it out. The better the quality of the water, the better these functions. And the better in consequence is your metabolism, and the better is your health. The big point in all this is, does water penetrate your cell membranes? Can it do that? And if it only can do that, if the water is fine, clustered, equal, has this hexagonal structure, that's the key issue. Fine clustered water or hexagonal structured water is needed. And we'll be talking about this in a few minutes. No, I'm too fast.
No, it's good.
Right. So before I go deeper into the water problems and explain to you how it all works and gets together, I should explain a bit of my water products, so later on you can better understand what I'm doing, where I'm coming from. I have two water products, and these water products are based on quantum physics. And quantum physics is a technology my countryman Max Planck developed. He didn't invent, he just observed, and he developed and gave it the name. Quantum theory is the basis of modern physics that explains the nature and behavior of matter and energy on the atomic level and subatomic level, the smallest parts in the universe. And in quantum physics, everything is connected with everything else. In traditional physics, it was either rays or wave. And Max Planck said no, and he discovered it can be both. Quantum physics knows no time, no space, no left, no right, no up, no down. Matter and mind are intertwined frequencies. We think we can separate the way we think and the way we act. It's all connected. If we don't see it, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So through the show, I will talk here and there about my two products. What happened was, as I said before, in 2015, I was trying to find healthy water, and I couldn't. I found a company which is very popular and very known out there. When I dug in their literature, I found things which didn't match up. And then I went and sent them an email with two particular questions. Very straight questions. And when they came up with the answer, I knew they were full of it. So I had to solve the problem. I knew at the start of the solution was not another water filter system. There are plenty of water filtering systems out there. Mostly bad, very few good. And I know most don't cut it, so I had to go a different route. I'm reducing here quickly my two products, which I designed to accomplish these goals. So whenever the problem is solved, it means somebody else's product out there, when you use it, doesn't matter. So the first product I came up with is called W300. And the W300 is a blue tube there. It's for both residential and commercial locations, farms, nurseries. And the unit does not being included in your water system. If that water pipe, that pipe here, represents, well, if that water pipe here represents the water coming into your house, you just take that unit and put it on that water pipe. And sitting on the water pipe, that's all it has to do. No water is running through it. By just touching the water pipe, which can be plastic, metal, or whatever it is, copper, it doesn't matter, whatever it is. So this is sitting on the water pipe with this piece here of a cable.
Even PVC, Norbert? PVC, no problem?
No problem. Everything, no problem.
Okay.
So you can put it there, as here a better photo shows, and that's all. Now, the beauty of it is, besides its warranty for 10 years, and what will it do, you will see later, you can use it for an entire house. You can use it for a house with 20 parties, 50 parties, it doesn't matter. You can use it for a farm with 5,000 cattle, a nursery, it doesn't matter. The volume of the water, which is controlled and improved, is endless, of floating water. It's pretty magic. And what it solves, you will see it during the show. It's for most people, it's mind-blowing, and I try to do it in steps you can digest it. Good. So when I designed this for the entire house, I realized that I needed a mobile solution, because I myself was traveling throughout the year 4 or 5 times Europe and Asia, and I wanted to have good water when I'm out there. Okay. So I came up with another product, a mobile product. This is just this pen here. Looks like a pen, a silver solid rod, right? And all you do is you either put that rod in water, or you just take a container, whatever the quality of the container is, and hold the rod against the container. And if you hold it against the container for 1 minute, all the water in the container is going to be handled in the way I will explain to you later on. And it does the same thing like the big blue thing, with one limitation: you can only do it for up to 1 gallon, not floating water, sitting water in a container up to 1 gallon. And all these things can only be accomplished by the technology of quantum physics. You cannot do this in a regular physical universe. That doesn't work, right?
All
so
right.
These products do everything which we'll be talking about here in the show.
Norbert, you know, I must say that over the past months, the quantum plane and quantum physics, not so much quantum mechanics, that's a subject for another time. I haven't devoted much mental energy to that, but I think people are more prepared now to understand that this discussion of things quantum this and quantum that, this is a real thing. This isn't some nebulous imaginary musing. I have described it to the audience, in my view, in its exact, I mean, you validated it with the comment that you made earlier, that it's not, there is no up, there is no down, there is no time, there's no back, there's no forth. I reduced it to, it's simplistic, of course, I suppose, but it is where everything is created. It's where things form outside of the restrictions of time. And as the months and now years have gone past, This has been validated to me repeatedly in most unexpected ways. Because when you and I first met, I thought, okay, I'm listening. I don't
You
know
thought I
enough
was,
about this, but I can get up to speed pretty quick enough to be able to participate in a conversation with you without being an actual quantum scientist. But this is quite amazing because, ladies and gentlemen, I have to tell you, and I'm going to say it again, this presentation is for information purposes only. There is stuff, let me just digress for a moment. There is stuff all over the place in that field over there, in your backyard, over there in the neighbor's hedge, that actually constitutes nutrition. But you cannot claim, you cannot go and harvest these things and make a blend and say, this is good for the human being. It will improve your health. It's against the law to do something like that. Now, when you get out into the other fields of exploration, such as, well, for example, this SD1 Human Protect I have around my neck, I cannot tell you this will absolutely do A, B, C, D, and E. All I can tell you is the difference in the effect on me personally and people around me who have also had this disc in close proximity to themselves, the effect that it has when they've worn it and then they take it off for a little while. So while a government governing authority cannot or will not, and certainly not without charging a great deal of money to do so, they cannot say, we as a branch of the government have issued this decree. Yes, this works or that doesn't work, or this is good for you or that doesn't work for you. This is part of the breakaway civilization. The breakaway civilization occurs in the mind first, which, by the way, is also operating on the quantum level. Just like in your dreams, you have no sense of time in dreams, do you? No. If you do, you're the only one I've ever heard of who does. So, part of this breakaway way of thinking about existence, about reality, we need some validation from somewhere, don't we? Somebody to say, all right, we've heard you. We see the results of your work. Now let us test it. And you've heard me mention the Besa Institute of Austria many times. And the long and the short of it is, I have stated many times, they will not certify anything unless it does what it's claimed to do. They simply will not do it. And there is a limitation on how long they will validate these claims. So they try to stay as absolutely objective as humanly possible. And so with this in mind, and I say again, none of the things that we're talking about, none of the things we're talking about today are intended to do the following: diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. It is simply information provided to you, and after that, it's on you. Now, that said, there is the Besa Institute of Austria. So, Norbert, tell us about the Besa Institute, maybe how it came into existence and why it is as significant as it is to someone like yourself who is really going out into areas, if they're unexplored, okay, if they're deeply explored, but nobody talks about it much because of the implications, whatever they may be. How is it that the Besa Institute exists at all? And how did you get together with them? And what was the result of that association? There it is. Just a few notes, right?
yeah. Well, I'm trying to keep it short. Okay, the Besa Institute in Austria, I didn't know. I had no idea they were existing. Over the last 15 years, I was only able, or prior to that, I was only able to prove my technology works with the help of kinesiology or muscle testing. Now, I'm doing kinesiology and muscle testing for 40 years.
Yeah.
And some people accept it, some don't. I have a separate show over kinesiology to explain what it really is and how it works, which a lot of people don't know. And unfortunately, some practitioners, when they use kinesiology, they don't explain the patients what are they doing and how it works. So I took it up and made a webinar about what kinesiology is, and you can find it on my website, and we can do a show one day if you want to. So I could only prove it. So I was in a talk show in Switzerland, and the talk show master who checked the products and blah, 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 he said to me, your products are amazing. I said, yes, I know, but I have a problem. I can only prove it with kinesiology. And then he said, no, hold on. There is the Besa Institute in Austria. They test scientifically when people make claims or make suggestions like you do. whether it's true or not. So I called the visa people back in America, and they said, "Oh yeah, we know you from various talk shows. You do interesting stuff." I said, "Yeah, but I would need scientific proof, and I have about 30 products. Can you test them?" And they go, "What? You're not testing 30 products? I mean, it's cost you an arm and a leg." I said, "Look, I want to differentiate myself from most of the companies out there. I cannot face my children and grandchildren one day that they say, 'Oh, you lied to the people, you deceived them, you betrayed them.'" Uh, and I said to my children always, if you go through the world and you never need to be afraid to meet somebody you met in the past, and this person can finger point you, you live a happy, good life. So I said, look, I want to do that. And if I fail the test, tell me where and how I failed so I can improve my product. So they tested all the products. And bottom line is that from all the products, I have more than 1,800 pages of certifications, of testings and certifications. And they're certified every single product. I didn't fail at all with no product. So that made me very happy, very content, and made me safe that I'm doing the right thing from that. And that's a very good start for me to expand my company and to set up there, because I cannot muscle test every person in this world. Again, not everyone accepts it. So Visa tested the products, and again, all these tests are on my website. People can read them. There's no guesswork. I wanted potential customers, regardless they trust in me or not, I'm real or not for them. I wanted them to say, look, here's a scientific test, no discussion. And if sometimes smart people come up with some stupid, really stupid approaches, I said, look, here's the test, read it. It says it all. So the other day, I bought 20 products on Amazon, which all claim that they protect you from electromagnetic radiation on cell phones. We bought 20 products, and we had in front of the camera a double-blind study in kinesiology. The doctor did that for me. I didn't do it. Double-blind study, and except my product, all products failed. And I didn't bash those companies. I didn't name their names. I just wanted to see, look, they're all promising and they don't work. And the big problem for consumers is, who can I trust?
Right.
Not so long ago, the Whole Food company, very known, has his own water brand called Starkey, which is in a glass bottle, which I appreciated. And then they found out, well, the Starkey water at Whole Foods has truckloads of, what was it? Truckloads of arsenic. And they had to pull all the bottles from the shelves throughout the entire imperium. So I wanted to give my customers the comfort of knowledge, of confidence. What Norbert Heuser says, it's real. And that's all I can say. The Visa Institute people are incredible technology they developed. And I've just been with them 4 weeks ago, and I had my entire family with me, and I had my entire family tested in the Visa Institute, their health conditions. It was amazing. Maybe something for another show. So here I can give you, how does it look like when Visa Institute tests, okay? Well, here's the way the Visa Institute typically tests. And again, I have all these tests on my website for every product. I give you here just an extract of such a test, okay? They took the water unit for this testing. They tested a person's condition with the water the person is drinking right now, nowadays, in their household. And here you see a test of lung, skin, large intestines, stomach, organ, pancreas, bladder, kidney, lymph, allergies, and so on. And you see these blue bars. Everything in blue is degenerative, more or less. You see 10 and 30 and 20 and so on. Everything in blue is degenerative. And besides these topics here, they had then liver, heart, small intestines, blood circulation, endocrine system. So they tested the person, and everything which is degenerative is blue. By the person drank that water they usually drink. Then they introduce my product in the cycle, and the water was consumed by this test product, by this test person. And after some, I believe, 10, 15 minutes, they tested the person again. And everything which was blue basically became green. Again, the skin, the bladder, the kidney, allergy, anything which was blue before became green. So that's a health condition. And they're proving this all over the place. And once they proved it, they write the report. They give me all the copies of the testings, which is more than what you just see. I just give you an extract. Here's a comparison before and after. On the left side, the blue you see before, the organs and body functions. And on the right side, after consuming the water, how the condition of that person changed. No, I'm not making claims. PISA Institute just tells me that's what they test and what their findings are. And once the tests are over, I get these many pages of testings, which are on the website, and I get a certificate for every product. Every product they ever tested, I get a certificate. And so I had my products tested, both water products, and the certification is there. So these things give me a peace of mind because I know I'm on the right track and they can prove it. And yes, you talked about quantum physics. These things you can only do on the level of quantum physics, not regular method will work. And the planet is based on quantum physics, whether we know it or not. And you talked about the time. You see, when I give people tests on their body, I say in no time. If I say no time, people freak out.
Right.
if I say I do it in 1 second, they say, oh, that's fast. And I build them a bridge because 1 second they can think with, they can imagine, okay, 1 second, that's fast. So I say, take this product on your body and in 1 second your body changes. And they say, that's incredible fast. Yeah. When I say in no time it changes, then they freak out and they cannot follow. So I leave it alone and say in 1 second. It gives them a peace of mind.
It makes perfect sense. It really does. That kind of tickles me a little bit. If you say 1 second, they can wrap their heads around that. But if you say in no time, meaning instantaneously, they can't handle it. That's interesting.
I have my cell phone unit.
I think that's fascinating and worth repeating that. And we've mentioned this before, folks, on a previous conversation between Caravan Central and Norbert Heuser. And that is, with this harmonizing device on his mobile phone, we have them on ours as well. Not only is your own phone the frequency harmonized where it's no longer harmful, but when it goes through the towers, when you place the call and it goes through the towers, you're going to call somebody in South Africa, one of my favorite places on earth, frankly, for a number of reasons. It goes through the towers, up to the satellite, and down to the recipient of the call. He could be in the Democratic Republic of Congo. It doesn't matter. But the incoming frequency that the recipient of the call is experiencing, it's harmonized as well. So during the course of that call, any effects of electromagnetic radiation are, shall we say, mitigated in some way on the quantum level. And I put it that way simply because we don't want to give any of these mugs who do not want their fellow human beings to have access to this kind of, I'm going to call it tech, simply because technology is the study of. Ology is the study of something. Biology, whatever. Geology is the study of. The technical study is technology and the benefits of it, or the result of it, whatever you decide to label it. It's the same for the recipient as for the actual caller. Even though the recipient does not have an IPC device on it or near it. If that's not quantum, well, then I don't know what quantum is at all. And I think I do. Norbert, that's amazing. And I'm sorry, I just had to repeat it. I'm pretty sure everybody got it, and I still needed to repeat it.
Well, your English is better than mine. I'm happy if you present it so that the American fellow man can truly understand it. It goes even further. When the guy in South Africa on his unprotected cell phone calls me, in the moment I'll pick up, he is covered again. And this in no time. The moment I pick up, There's no latency between me in Florida and the guy in South Africa. There is no latency, not 1 second. It's no time. That's, I could put my technology, when I developed the technology and had my first product, people say you become filthy rich now because Apple puts in all their cell phones and all the cell phones are safe, right? I say, no. They will do crap. They would admit that they're not safe now. They will never do that.
Right.
And if I put my technology in every cell tower in the world, no Wi-Fi and no cell phone and no nothing would have any negative health impact.
Now, you realize many people will claim this is a wild boast. However,
That's okay.
the BISA Institute has determined that this is correct.
Yes.
We won't even use the word true. We'll say correct rather than true, because I'm sensing a legal ramification to using the word true.
Okay. Thank you. So the same test I just showed you about the water, the BISA Institute did this with my cell phone and the home protection for electromagnetic radiation. And they came up with these testings and the same graphs and testing the human body and the functions and so on and so forth. I don't go there now. We may do another show. The human protect you wearing and I'm wearing. I can give you a story what BISA Institute tested with a person who has been vaccinated. Maybe I mentioned it. A person, 80-year-old man, very sick, had been vaccinated. And they tested the person and they found spike proteins and all these goodies in the body of that person. Graphene oxide. And they tested the person. And I have that test. And then they put my SD1, this round little disc, on the person and tested him 2 minutes later again. And everything which has been degenerative with this person was gone. And they say the technology nullifies the harmful effect of spike proteins and of graphene oxide. So they say that, not me.
Well, here's mine, and it's around my neck continuously. I sleep with it. I don't want to get too personal here, but I even get in the shower with it.
Yeah, that's
I
fine.
don't take it off ever.
I personally take it off at nighttime, put it next to my pillow where it covers me, right?
Not
All right,
me.
so that builds now the bridge beautifully to the next theme. Now we're getting, I promise you, deeper and deeper into tricky stuff about water, right? And the next subject there, which links completely well with what we just said, is water and frequencies. Okay, water and frequencies. Now this is going to get, I beef it up. The gradient is going to get more tough now. Okay, for people perhaps to follow. I'm trying to make it followable. Talking about water, one must understand first the basics of frequencies. The entire world is based on frequencies only. Usually I have an entire seminar with the subject. Maybe we do another show only on frequencies. So I give you here a crash, intense information about frequency. Every food, every product has its own frequency. Every cell in our body, every single cell has its own frequency. Every human being has its own frequency. This is why distant healing is possible. And this is why telepathy is possible.
Yes.
When I give seminars, I do a telepathy test on a person so that the person himself and the people in the seminar room can witness telepathy. Now, it's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people, but I don't care. I've done it, and I keep doing it. So it gets real to people that telepathy exists. And if you practice, you can use it. So for me, the biggest wonder of this world is maybe the biggest one. When we are created, there was only one cell. Then the cell broke up in 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, blah, 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 and so on and so forth, right? This is simple biology, physics. We know that. Now my question to you is, how does the cell number 23,450 know it will be the right eye, and the cell number 280,475 will know it will be the left ear?
Well, in my opinion, the short answer is because it is programmed to do so. It was created to do this.
Exactly. But through frequency.
Yes.
Okay, it only works through frequency. Like every human has his unique fingerprint. We know that it's unique, right? Every person, 8 billion people have different fingerprints. Each human has a different frequency. So this is why I'm doing what I'm doing now. What is important to understand is that regardless how many different frequencies there are on the planet, 3 gillions, 3 billions, we cannot even put it in a mathematical number. There are only two types of frequencies. You can separate all frequencies of the world in only two types. One type is pro-survival, positive, and one type is counter-survival, negative. So when I was younger, I helped people by testing them on food allergies, which food are for them pro-survival, they should eat, and which food is counter-survival, they should not eat. Everything in this world is pro-survival or counter-survival. That doesn't only count for food, that counts for a relationship. The relationship with your wife is pro-survival or counter-survival. The job you're doing is pro-survival or counter-survival. John, your job is pro-survival. This is why I work with you, because you help people to understand the world better and find solutions and answers and questions which usually don't come up on CNN. You have this organization called Doctors, what is it called? Doctors, not for the third world. There's a group of doctors. They travel the world, and every year they give their vacation and go to a place and help free charge people in poor countries. There's a name of it.
The Doctors Without Borders, I think you might be
referring to. Yeah, exactly. Okay, this is a pro-survival activity. So they're pro-survival. Somebody who sells drugs, it's a counter-survival activity. And you see so many relationships where they're really nice to each other and supportive, and others who are permanently fighting and ending up in court and killing each other. So everything in this world has a frequency, and every frequency is either pro-survival or counter-survival. So what you do, pro-survival frequency, you support. Counter-survival frequency, you try to change them into pro-survival. So if you're in a company and you have your Monday morning meetings with the staff, what are you trying to do? You're trying to get these people together in one direction again, which are fighting within the company against each other, and you try to bring them on a track of pro-survival. So you support pro-survival and you try to change counter-survival. If you can't change counter-survival, you have to cut it off, you have to separate. If you work with your wife and you try to make your marriage go right, if you keep trying and it doesn't work, you may have to separate. So it counts for many different walks of life. Everything is counter-survival or pro-survival. When I go with my wife to places and things happening, I just look at her, counter or pro? She says counter. So let's go, let's leave. Okay. So these are delivered in my seminars typically, but now about frequencies. Everything in this world has frequencies. And as our good friend Nikola Tesla said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. He says, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And you know what he was talking about. So my technology is based on frequencies. And the future of survival in medicine, in life, in the improvement of all conditions on this planet is determined by how we handle frequencies. For a lot of people, this goes over the head. Oh, I got to talk to the guy, and no, it's about a frequency. Is that guy on the frequency you need him to be? He has to be to solve the problem. Does he see the big picture? The future of this planet and all beings depend on our understanding on application of the above. And my countryman, Schumann, Otto Schumann, he discovered that there's a frequency on this planet, he called it alpha wave, 8.3 Hertz. And the human being needs 7, 8.3 hertz to survive, to live. He was a very modest man. He called it alpha wave, not Schumann wave, alpha wave. If it would have been me, I would have called it Norbert wave, of course, right? Ah, something important. Put my name on it. Now he said alpha wave. So the human being cannot exist without the 7, 8.3 hertz. And I know the British BBC did a test many years ago. You know, these super rich people think when things coming down, we just go in a bunker and we survive in the bunker for some months, and then we come back again when everything up there is kind of clean, right? And the BBC took students in a bunker for a few weeks, and they all became sick because they didn't have the 7, 8.3 frequency in the bunker. I believe, I cannot prove that, I believe that when people fly in the cosmos, that in these rockets, they may have a creator of frequency 7, 8.3 on their machines. But I just speculated, okay?
Is that 7.83 or 7.8.3?
7.83.
Let me ask you this: is that gigahertz or what cycle rate is that frequency?
No,
Do you know?
Hertz. It's
Hertz,
very
okay.
low, very low cycle. Okay.
Okay, gotcha.
Low cycle. Now, my countryman found this out, and Mr. Schumann, and the interesting thing is that Heinz Berger, another German engineer, of course, you got to be German. Okay, you got to be German. He discovered that the brain works on the exact same frequency. The brain works on the exact same frequency, 7.83, sorry, 7.83. Now, to give an example of frequencies, I took a violin and a cello, right? And I'm going to play for you now a video where you hear the different sound of the violin and cello. If you look at what they look like, they look very similar, different in size. But what does differentiate them? The sound. And what is the sound? The sounds are purely frequency. A good audio engineer can tell by the scope on his computer, when he sees the frequency of an instrument, he can tell you pretty much which instrument it is, because every music instrument has typically frequencies and typically patterns. So let's listen to the sound here, and the difference is the frequency. So talk about water and frequencies. What do I do with my technology? If you understand the principle of frequency now, the water and frequency. Most municipal water throughout the US are bad. Depending on the location, they have lots of yummy ingredients in your water. Fluoride, chloramine, chlorine, arsenic, as we pointed out before. So with my technology, I work on the frequency. Now, this is important for you to follow. Every one of these beautiful ingredients, let's take fluoride. Fluoride has a frequency. The fluoride frequency is different than chloramine or chlorine or arsenic. They're all particles in the water, but every one of these particles has a typical different frequency. So with my technology, I work on frequency. I identify that particular frequency and I nullify that frequency. And I'll show you in a minute what I mean by nullify. Mathematically, let's say that frequency of fluoride is +2. I'm very simplifying. +2. If I now give a -2, the result is nil. That's pure math, right? +2 minus 2 is nil. So I took that frequency of +2, gave it the frequency of -2, and the result is nil. That's very simple. John, have you heard about or used noise cancellation headphones?
Oh yes, absolutely. And also I'm familiar with within the mixing process of a piece of music, for example, it is possible for certain frequencies to cancel each other out, and you hear neither of those frequencies within the musical recording. Yeah, I'm with you.
So if you take two speakers, for example, I work a lot with audio and music, and if you put these speakers in a certain angle towards each other, normally a pair of speakers you have like left and right in front of you, right? Stereo.
Yeah.
So if you put them in a certain angle against each other, their frequency nullify each other and you hear nothing. Okay. So that's a typical situation, and we call this in the physical world inversion. And an inversion, technically, what I showed you, the plus minus 2 is simplified. Okay. Here is a proper inversion. For people who are more into physics, that's a proper inversion. So the red and the green waves are canceling each other. Same frequency, but they have different waves and they cancel each other. So what I do in my technology, I take the frequency of, for example, go back again to we had fluoride, right? So I analyze the fluoride frequency, and then I nullify it in my technology, which is called inversion. So in this product, this is a quantum physics computer. A quantum physics computer which has no keyboard and no monitor if you think conventional computers. It's a quantum physics computer programmed, guaranteed for 10 years. So if the water now, to make it simple with one product, if the water flows through the pipe on which it sits, it recognizes the negative frequency of fluoride, and the moment it passes, in no time, it nullifies it. Just one example. Same counts for arsenic, same counts for whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. Whatever's in the water, we nullify it. And the moment it passes the product, in no time. Okay? So what happens now, the fluoride particle is still in the water. What is dangerous? The fluoride particle or the frequency?
The frequency.
Exactly. The frequency is dangerous. The frequency is harmful, not the physical particle. Okay? Here's another example of how I explain that. You see here examples of frequency. I made it red, blue, and green and said it's good, bad, and good, right? Just, to simplify it, okay? So you see in the left image, you see a full spectrum of that water, including that bad frequency. Let's take that one bad frequency, which is fluoride, okay? Then you see on the right side, when it now passes the water, you see the red, basically you don't see it anymore. I made it very light to give you the idea it's there, but it has no more impact. It has no more power, right? The red and the blue and the green ones, which are good frequencies, we don't touch. So if in the water is vitamin C, true vitamin C, we'll leave it. If it's a good mineral, we'll leave it. But if it's a counter-survival frequency, like fluoride, we nullify it. So it has no more impact. This is why you saw before with the Biza Institute, those before and after pictures. Okay, let's look at this again real quick. The before and after picture. On the left, the blue, where everything is blue, degenerative. The body is in trouble, is unhealthy. Now he uses our water, which has been modified, improved with our water unit, and everything which has been negative is now turned into positive. There's no more, what Biza says, there's no more reaction to the body to the negative, right? Okay, good.
It spawns some other thoughts as well. The real key here is what Tesla says. Everything is energy, frequency, and vibration, and it applies to everything. And I'm going to wax a little bit rudimentary here, but people have said, I don't know about this person or that person. I just get bad vibrations from them, or
Sure.
This person seems like a good spirit. People will say they just put off. Their presence seems to improve the atmosphere because human beings put off different frequencies too. And I'm thinking, I mean, I'm going all the way to When you are in prayer, ladies and gentlemen, which is why when people are in agreement, they really are. They're not just saying they're in agreement, they are in agreement. The difference between is it real or is it fake? Oh, I'm in agreement. No, you're not. Right? Well, let me see if I can change my way of thinking. Let me change my frequency. This is why it is written in that ancient scripture that when people are in agreement, what they're in agreement regarding will come to pass. They will become little micro creators. Everything is either pro-survival or counter-survival. Light and dark, good and evil, life and death. I think this is amazing, Norbert. Actually, I didn't. I had no idea. Well, actually, I did, but not this great of an idea that it would lead to, effectively, the way we view life and what is good and what is bad. Something that is, well, it's expedient. Yes, but it's bad in the long term. Well, but it's still expedient. And the plus side is we can make money. Wait a minute. And this is really, in most simplistic terms, the state of civilization practically everywhere you look, except in certain parts of the world, of which we generally know nothing about. So anyway, over to you. That's my philosophical rant for the moment.
You're right. And you know, we have an expression, we're on the same wavelength. You say
Yes.
that, right?
Oh,
We're on
yes.
the same wavelength, okay?
Well,
So,
it's true.
yeah. So, and you sometimes may come to in a house to people and you feel uncomfortable. You say, "Oh, I couldn't live here. Let me get out of here." Or you feel, "This is so fantastic. I feel like home." Right? These are all based on frequencies, not on visual effects or whatever. You know.